If you've been watching our videos here for a while now, and feeling that awareness alone is no longer enough for you, and maybe like you're supposed to build something bigger than your current level of action, today's video is for you. Not for the people who are completely checked out politically, and not for the people who kind of don't care. This is for the people who feel the weight of this moment in this country every single day. The people who know something is deeply wrong and yet can't look away. The people who are already taking action in some form, but suspect that they may be capable of building a more meaningful impact than the one they're having right now. Maybe you've been attending huge nationwide rallies, but then when you get home, you start thinking about the immediate problems in your own community. Or maybe you've already started organizing locally, but you feel like you're reinventing the wheel by yourself. Or maybe, and I've met a lot of these people recently, you've become the person in your own community who people rely on when things go sideways, but you're too exhausted to carry all of it alone. And maybe you've just been quietly carrying the feeling that you are meant to build something meaningful in this era, but you still haven't figured out what structure could sustain that for the long term. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to go from that place, that deep knowing that you are supposed to be building something more significant that really changes and saves lives in this era, and how to actually take the next best steps to do exactly that. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. I'm a lifelong activist, a former human rights lawyer, and for the last 15 years, I've been working with nonprofits, community organizations, and everyday ordinary people who know they're here to make a positive impact in the most effective way they can. If that sounds like you, I want to invite you to book a complimentary consulting call with our team here at the Ripple Effect Institute. We'll walk you through what you're aiming to build, what's standing in your way, and how to take the next best step in alignment with your values and the change you want to create. The link to book that call is below. And make sure you subscribe to this channel because every week we talk about how ordinary people can make extraordinary change where they live. Now, I want to talk about this honestly. If you've been carrying that feeling lately, the sense that you're supposed to contribute something more meaningful in this moment, but you're not entirely sure how to build what you feel called to build, I just want to tell you that that is a very normal place to be. Not all of us are born organizers, but many of us are also not just concerned observers of history. Some of us are already builders. We're hidden organizers or community builders. Maybe we're protectors who feel a deep call to keep others safe. Or we're connectors who like to put people in touch with those who can really help at points of crisis. We might be people with a huge vision, but no structure to achieve it yet. Or people carrying real social change leadership instincts that haven't yet been developed. And maybe we're people who know that we're supposed to build something stronger where we live. And one of the hardest parts of this stage is that we can often feel that calling long before we fully understand the structure and the skills that we need to sustain it. And one thing that we need to talk about in that regard is where so many people get stuck when they have the vision, but they can't see how to execute it. Most people think that the hardest part of activism is caring enough or getting other people to care. But it's actually not. The hardest part is bridging the gap between I care deeply and I know how to consistently take action on that in a sustainable way. That is where so many good people lose years because they get trapped in cycles of overcommitting or trying to do something on every issue and then burning out or trying to learn and do everything themselves, trying to build something without support or trying to carry that leadership entirely alone. And meanwhile, the political conditions around all of us are getting worse. But here's the truth that most people eventually realize. Awareness alone does not create change. Having information alone does not create change. Even passion or caring about a whole host of issues does not create change. What creates change is organized, sustained, relational action taken over time. That's what movements are actually made of. Structures, communities, and shared leadership capacity. And nobody can build those things alone. In fact, you're not supposed to. So let's dive into this a little bit further. Somewhere along the way, many of us internalized a very narrow and deeply flawed idea of what leadership to create change looks like. We've been taught to associate leadership with the loudest person in the room, the most confident, the most dominant, the most charismatic, the person with the largest social media following, the person who seems to know it all, and of course, that person is usually a cisgender, heterosexual white male who projects ultimate ego at all times. It's no wonder that because of that, a lot of deeply capable people disqualify themselves from quote unquote leadership, including and especially when it comes to creating social change. And it's not because they lack vision, and it's definitely not because they lack courage. It's because, actually, what social change requires in this moment is something that looks completely different, something that many of us were never trained to do. Right now, the most effective social justice movements in this country are run through collaborative, community-based leadership that looks nothing like the leadership models that we've been shown. And the truth, which often gets elided or ignored, is that some of the most transformational justice movements in the history of this country were not built around one loud or heroic figure. Even the civil rights movement that was helmed by Martin Luther King Jr. had thousands of people in shared collaborative leadership models around the country running chapters and small community organizations that resulted in the March on Washington. The French resistance that stood up to the Nazis was organized in tiny collaborative community cells that activated at just the right moment to push back against fascism. And even movements like the Underground Railroad required single families and small groups of people to work together as hubs to free enslaved people. These movements, they were built by small networks of people sharing the same values, building trust and capacity, and sharing leadership together over time. And I suspect that many of you watching this already know that this is the kind of leadership you feel called toward in this moment. Not a model of leadership that is rooted in ego or performance, but leadership that is rooted in care with collaboration, community, strategy, and sustained collective action. You feel it every time you think, we need to build stronger communities than this. Or when you see social safety nets failing and you think to yourself, we need to build better systems than this. Or when you think about what's coming after this authoritarian moment and you think to yourself, someone needs to build what's coming next. And somewhere, deep down, part of you understands that you are one of the people being called to build it. I think many people hit this point quite quietly. They care deeply and they start taking action, and maybe they begin organizing locally. But eventually they run into the same realization. Meaningful leadership is incredibly difficult to sustain in isolation. It requires strategy and community and accountability and skill development. More than anything, in my experience, it also requires relationships with other people carrying a similar weight in this moment as you. Because no meaningful moment in history was ever built by one exhausted person trying to carry it all alone. Movements are in fact built by networks of people growing capacity together. And that's the point where many people stop and realize that they need help if they're going to grow their capacity for change. And this, by the way, is exactly why we created the Ripple Effect Institute. Not for people who just want to argue with people online or people who just want to doom scroll and not actually take action. Not even for people looking for the quick emotional high of attending the latest nationwide protest. But instead, for people who genuinely want to build something meaningful and sustainable in the real world that protects and saves lives. And to do it with strategy, accountability, community, leadership development, and deeply experienced support in what it takes to turn concern into real impact. So if you've been circling this work for a while, if you've been watching these videos and thinking, I'm ready for a deeper level of impact in the face of so much authoritarian threat, I want to invite you to apply for a complimentary consulting call at the link below. You do not have to build this alone, and we're experts in helping to build it together. So what actually comes next after you realize that you're meant to do more? Well, it's not perfection, and it's not immediate certainty, and it's not suddenly becoming a completely different person. What comes next is learning, and it's learning in community. how to build with structure and with support and with accountability. And more than anything, with repeated action and in relationship with other people who are deeply committed to building meaningful impact too. That's how mutual aid networks grow, how ICE response networks grow, how trans protection networks can scale, and how communities become resilient enough to withstand authoritarian pressure. It happens through people building together consistently across every identity group and across every issue, but with each individual focused on their specific area of change. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that they should already know how to do all of this without seeking support. It's like expecting yourself to become a surgeon by reading medical textbooks alone in your bedroom. No one who has led a community organization or a movement knows how to do it until they've done it. And one of the things that I can tell you is that it's a lot easier to do it when you're in community with other people on the same path. Real leadership for change develops in relationship to other people. That, in fact, is how human beings grow. And I've seen this transformation happen over and over and over again inside the Ripple Effect Institute. Grant is a nurse practitioner who had a vision for transforming housing in his own community. Instead of waiting for institutions to solve the problem, he started building a cooperative living project with his partner and several others, rooted in shared care, affordability, and sustainable community support. Lisa is a retired social worker and family therapist who saw the impact that injustice was having in her small agriculturally based town. So she started a local social justice organization designed to address real local needs, from immigrant defense for migrant workers to protecting local LGBTQ people who were under threat. Diane had a vision for a local economy rooted in community caretaking instead of extraction. So she created a crowdfunding platform focused on helping marginalized people at the hyper-local level, making it possible for communities to directly support one another in times of crisis. Kelly became deeply frustrated watching her local Democratic Party remain ineffective in the face of escalating threats in her Texas city. Instead of disengaging, she worked with other local progressives to begin taking over the party infrastructure itself and creating meaningful electoral change from the ground up. None of these people started because they had every answer, or for that matter, because they were experienced in trying to create wide-scale social change. They started because they recognized a need in the communities where they lived, and they realized that their calling was to create something stronger in response. Not alone, not by trying to take on every issue at once, but with structure, support, strategy, and community, and relationships with other people committed to meaningful change. That's how sustainable leadership for change in the face of so much authoritarian threat develops. Not through individual heroics, but through networks of values-driven people building real-world capacity together over time. So let's bring this home. If you've been watching what's been happening in this country and in your own community, maybe for months or even years, and you realize that awareness alone is no longer enough for you, I want you to understand something. That feeling is not random. Some people, to be honest, don't have the capacity to do more than witness history. And some folks much prefer to doom scroll than to actually take action. And some people, they're here to help shape the future. So if you're still here and you're still paying attention and you're still trying to take action despite how exhausting this all is, and you find yourself being pulled toward creating a deeper impact for social justice and change, there's a very real possibility that you're one of those people who's ready to start creating what's coming next. Not alone, but together, and arm in arm across every line with everyone who wants a better future for all of us. Because the communities that help others to survive authoritarianism, that help all of us to thrive and fight for a better future, they are the communities with the strongest relationships, with shared leadership, with real structures, and the capacity to sustain action together over time. And the question is no longer whether radical change is needed. I think we can all see the answer to that question already. The question that remains is whether you are ready to become a part of this solution. And if you're ready to stop circling the edge of this work and to start working to build something meaningful in furtherance of real social change, I want to invite you to apply for a complimentary consulting call with us at the Ripple Effect Institute. Because this work is not about consuming more information, and it's not about being stretched so thin across every issue that nothing that you do is effective. It's about building shared leadership, effective strategy in the face of authoritarianism, real and trusted community, and sustainable structures that actually make a difference where you live. You do not need to have everything figured out before you begin. You just need to take the next step. The link to apply for that complimentary consulting call is below. I want to thank you so much for being here, and particularly for all the action that you've taken already to push back and create change in the face of so much authoritarian threat. I'll see you in the next video.